I dug back into some fundamental principles, and people are always asking me, hey coach, what are some of your favorite reads? What are some of the books that you enjoy the most? What has made biggest impact on you? And I'm gonna say right now, there's a couple of them, and I would recommend this. Some of the people that have had, they're past, they're no longer here, but I consider them mentors. Does that make sense? Because I've listened to them, I spent time with them, etc. I think if I look at the four fundamentals, books that really impact me, and one of them we're going to lean into here today, and some of the principles from it, because I think they're so valuable. You may want to write these down. Number one, and this isn't today, but number one, I think everyone over the course of a year, every single year, needs to go back, listen to, read, Think and Grow Rich. It is hands down one of the greatest books that's ever created. It is so valuable, right? Created by Napoleon Hill. Number two is an audio program by a gentleman by the name of Earl Nightingale. Right? Earl Nightingale was my mentor, Mike Ferry's mentor, sort of passed down that baton, right? And, so he's got two audios. And the reason I'm sharing this with you guys, and I'll circle back around, and I just want you to write this down if you would, please. Write down, my income grows to the extent that I do. How many of you guys believe that? That your income will grow to the extent that you do. And you look at, hey Chris, individuals whose income stagnates, stalls, or stops, I guarantee you they've reached a point where they became complacent and they're no longer beginning to actually feed this. Would you guys agree on that? Yes or no? Right? That like when you're growing in green, man, like you're using new techniques, whether that's your sales skills or whether it's what you're learning or reinforcing, etc. So it's so critical. And that's something that I learned years and years and years ago, right? Is if I want more income, I need to continue to grow. So number two, that second, it's not a book, it's an audio. There's two of them, Lead the Field and The Strangest Secret. Lead the Field and The Strangest Secret. Those are all Earl Nightingale. Old school, Fergus, fantastic, strong, really good stuff. From a more like spirit standpoint, one of the ones that had the biggest impact on me, right? There's two of them. One's called Power versus Force. Power versus Force by a guy by the name of Dr. David Hawkins. Really heady read. And then basically anything by Wayne Dyer. Talks about transformation, manifestation, etc. Right? He's passed away, was a huge mentor of mine. But the one that I want to talk to you guys about here today is by a gentleman by the name of Dale Carnegie, who really was one of the first, he and Napoleon Hill, personal growth and development individuals. And he wrote a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. Okay, Casey, I saw you mouthing it as I was saying it, right? And every year there's three books, right? Number one is is Think and Grow Rich. Number two is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Number three is, I don't read it cover to cover, but I jump in and I'll read some of the pieces of the Bible as well too. You know what I mean? Some of those key things, being someone that was, has that as a core component for myself as well. Those are like every year, all three. And when I go to How to Win Friends and Influence People, I'm going to put this today in a perspective of how you can use it for your real estate business. And I went in and I said, what are the 5 key principles that really stand out in this that you could use for your business? But what I want you to understand here, Heather, is that it's not just about business, it's about relationships, right? The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your relationships. Would you guys believe that? The relationships that you have with your kids, with your spouse, with your parents, with your brothers, with your sisters, with your clients, with your broker, with the other agents in your marketplace, right? If like that is really, when you look at individuals, and this is something I've always said, when I die, I hope the funeral has hundreds, if not thousands of people at it. That's the measure, not the bank account. Does that make sense? The true measure is the relationships that you build and you maintain and that you stick to. So today I want to jump into this really quick. So let me just share my screen and let's have some fun. I know this isn't sort of our normal tactical, let's get into it and here's a new script and here's a new dialogue. But this for me was near and dear that I've really dug into. And I want to give you these 5 key principles and something to understand about Dale Carnegie. The book itself was written in 1936. It's got over 30 million copies sold. Fortune 500 companies use it. It's the foundation for like true influence. If you want to have influence, and really write this down, sales is influence. If you're going to be a great salesperson, which I believe every single one of you are, you've got to be highly influential. Now, by the way, Alicia, okay, is being a parent influence? And the answer is hell yes, right? Is being in a relationship with another man or woman, is that influence? 100%, right? So everything in your life will rise and fall based upon the influence that you have an ability to be able to have. And these principles are truly the founding principles of influence, and it's directly applicable to your leadership, your retention, to working with your clients, etc. So here's the very first principle. And this one is, I think we could just stop here if we wanted to. Principle number 1 that I want you guys to write down is don't criticize, don't condemn, or complain. Don't criticize, don't condemn, or don't complain. It is so the challenge that we have is, do we live in a world where there's a lot of complaining, there's a lot of bitching, there's a lot of moaning, yes or no? And the answer is what, guys? Absolutely 100% yes. You can turn on the TV. You can, so many conversations are really discussing what someone is unhappy about, right? Okay. And it pulls sellers and buyers, it puts them on the defensive, right? If you're complaining about situation, it puts anybody, you can take sellers and buyers, guys, and you can actually say, hey, this is just a human being. Anytime you criticize, anytime you condemn, anytime you complain about something, right? It actually puts the world on defense. It wounds pride, it creates resistance, right? And it really kills deals, referrals, and everything else. So here's what Dale Carnegie said. Any fool can criticize, condemn, and complain, and most fools do. But it takes character and self-control to be understanding and forgiving. Okay? We want to avoid defensiveness. And when we seek to understand, and by the way, 2 of my good friends that I haven't talked to in a long time, the Patulskis, Ron and Kate Patulski, they said something years ago in some training that they did that I thought was so valuable. And this became a mantra for me. Write down, instead of listening to respond, listen to understand. Understand that client that's upset that their home hasn't sold. Understand that buyer that is frustrated because they're not finding what it is. Okay, right? I mean, they may complain, but you don't have to get into it, right? So if you look here, and by the way, hey, Emily, I've got an entire sort of cheat sheet, if you will, of things that go along with this that I'll send out to you that you can send to everyone. That is the real estate applicability for this and how to be able to use it with buyers, with sellers, on lead calls, etc. If you're in a leadership position, which all of you are, okay, right? Okay. You really want to take this. You don't even want to open up a space for people to condemn, complain, to criticize, and you for sure don't want to actually lead into it. You want to focus on understanding, not blaming, and lead with curiosity, not judgment. Okay. Now, I shared this, Alicia, if you remember, on Monday. This is one of the primary principles that I live my life by, and I'm sort of sharing some key principles for me. This changed everything for me, and it's something that my family lives around, my business is built around, the leadership of my people understand, and that's this. And I want you to write this thought down. People are doing the best that they can in the moment. People are doing the best they can in the moment with the skills and the tools that they have. And here's the caveat. And all my suffering comes from my judgment of them or the situation. Think about that for a second. Let that sink in. Alicia, I want to live a life with no suffering. How about you guys? No suffrage, no suffering, etc. And like if I look at where most suffering comes from, it's criticizing, condemning, and complaining about a situation, about a person, instead of seeking to understand and saying, you know what? Hey, this person is doing the best that they can in the moment with the skills and the tools that they have, right? Alicia, do you remember when we worked together and we switched coaches, right? And and I was like, oh, dang it, man, I'm gonna miss her, right? And I could have complained, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. But no, I looked at it and I said, no, I understand the situation that she has. We've had to reschedule a bunch of, I seek to understand the situation versus judging the person. Does that make total sense, guys? A client comes at you and they're pissed off that the home hasn't sold. Meet them where they are. Look at them and say they're doing the best they can in the moment, the skills and the tools that they have. And what you're going to find is resistance will begin to disappear because all that people want to know is that you understand them. Does that make sense? And if they don't, they'll get more and more upset. Okay, here's number 2. I love this. Okay, number 2, give honest and sincere appreciation. Give honest and sincere appreciation. Human beings, hey Chris, do you like recognition? Alicia, do you like Tabitha? How many of you guys love to be recognized, love to be appreciated? Right? That's a human need. What it means is we're accepted. We're accepted by the tribe. It's safe. Clients crave that recognition as well too. Okay? And it really does fuel loyalty. When you are working with a client, right? And again, take this, apply it over not just to the business. Think about the key relationships in your life that matter, right? Okay. The only way that you're going to influence other people is to talk about what they want and then show them how to be able to get there. It activates the brain. Like when you give someone appreciation, gratitude, when you give honest and sincere feedback, right? That acknowledges them, it hits their brain's reward centers. It actually goes off. Right? They begin to feel good. It releases dopamine and serotonin. It strengthens the relationship. Okay. If I'm speaking to a client, right, and let's say that we're in negotiations on a deal, and I'm talking to them, and then like finding out like the best route, we're putting the best route together in terms of how to be able to get an offer accepted. I want to like when it's all done, I want to say, gosh, you know what, Emily, that was really fantastic how you actually handled A, B, C, and 1, 2, and 3. Right? Okay. That makes them feel important. I got the chance years ago to travel with the late, great Zig Ziglar. How many of you guys remember that name, Zig Ziglar, right? Another wonderful, Sell Your Way to the Top, another wonderful book. Zig Ziglar said this. He said, and I loved him because this is he's an ex-KC old school preacher, right? From the South, right? And he had that wonderful Southern accent. And he said the most important, and I was so grateful that I got the chance to travel with him for, and on the same speaking tour with him for about a month. And he said, the most important radio station for anyone is MMFI. I'm like, first time I heard it, I went, what in the hell is this kook talking about, as much as I loved him, right? And MMFI stands for Make Me Feel Important. Every interaction, every engagement, every conversation, every presentation, the true judgment of that presentation is, did I make that person feel important? How many of you have ever worked with a salesperson where you felt like a number, you felt like a deal, you felt like they're going to get done with this, it's not about you, it's about them? Have you ever had that experience before, my friends? Yes or no? 100%. And what do you want to do? You want to get out of that as soon as you possibly can, right? Okay. So watch. Acknowledge people when they move forward. Acknowledge them when they're handling difficult situations. Show your appreciation for them. Okay? You know, like end communications by saying, I really appreciate the fact that we get to work together. Start your presentation off by saying, hey, Emily, I know you've got a lot of choices in terms of agents today. I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to interview for the job of selling your home. Show that authentic appreciation, right? When you're done, whether you take, I have a good friend of mine, his name's Jimmy Rex. Many of you may know Jimmy. He is was a wonderful agent. You know, a team of about, Tabitha, 3 agents. They were selling 500 homes per year. Well, Jimmy was my go-to agent because I wasn't selling real estate anymore here in Salt Lake. I'd sold my team, so he was my go-to agent. I would send him referrals up here because I knew he'd take great care of them. Well, guess what happened, Alicia? Every referral I sent to him, whether it closed or not, or whether he got the deal, you know what I got? I got a Cinemark gift certificate for about $25 to go to the movies. And he says, Bill, and he was a coaching client of mine. He was a good friend of mine, but he just made me feel important with that, right? Billy Waters, one of my good coaching clients, Alicia, that you know, right? That you see on the calls. Billy sends me every quarter a handwritten thank you note. Thank you, coach, right? Really appreciate the work that you've done and how you've impacted me. That makes me feel important, which ultimately makes me want to do what? Give more. It's called reciprocation, okay? Right? So when you're calling past clients, call them just to check in, right? Not just to get a deal. Have the intent of building that relationship. And also, hey, Casey, I troll my clients, people on Instagram and Facebook, and I look for moments and opportunities to acknowledge them, okay? Like Nazar just had a grandbaby, right, Emily?
Yep.
You know, guess what I said? Dude, I saw that. I reached out to him. Didn't just do it in the thread. I reached out to him. I said, brother, congratulations. I'm so excited for you. I know how much and what a great blah, 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 blah. Do you think that goes a long way? 100%, right? Because people want to know that you care. And they want to know that the relationship is built on something more than just a transaction as well, too. So give honest, sincere appreciation. Here's number 3. Become genuinely interested in other people. They don't care about how many homes you sold until they know that you care. You guys have all heard that, okay? But when I asked Alicia, how's Jameson? How's he doing? What's going on? Right? I honestly want to know because I haven't seen it in a long time. Right? I'm like, how is he? Is he 6'1" yet? Because he's like the world's biggest baby at his age. Right? And I truly am interested in how she's doing, how the new house is now that she's been in it for almost probably over a year now at this point. You know what I mean? Or less than a year. Right? And
almost a year.
Almost a year, right? You know, like that's shit that I actually care about, right? I remember things. You got to remember things about your clients. You got to look and see, Casey, what's going on in their life? That we don't just want to reach out to them during those moments when it's like, oh, you know what? It's my quarterly call for my client. I better actually get together and hey, by the way, I was thinking about you because X, Y, and Z and A, B, C. And by the way, I want to be your resource for everything real estate related. So please don't ever hesitate to no. Yes, there's the script, there's the dialogue, but the opportunities in between. I love what Mozart said. Music is the space, the silence in between the notes. True music and symphonies is the space in between the notes. True relationships are built in between the established conversations that you're having for business. Does that make sense? Those random moments, me reaching out to Nazar, okay? Like you doing something for your clients, I remember many of you may or may not know this, but I am the world's worst consumer, Casey. Like literally, I have put myself on a hiatus, no new watches, no shoes. Right? And Alicia, you know how much I love my shoes, all 107 pairs of them, right? But I remember when we were buying my first Rolex, right? And this was, Pete, 15, 18 years ago. And the salesperson that was representing us, I cannot remember his name because he left the organization. Richard was his name. Sorry, Richard. Younger guy. We bought the Rolex, but we brought my son in when we bought the Rolex. And Liam played soccer at that time, right? This is 15 years ago. Liam was about 6 or 7 years old. We got done with that, and he knew that soccer was beginning to start back up. And Casey, guess what he did? He sent a brand new soccer ball to my son, not to me, said, hey, I know that there's a new season coming up, right? Here's a new soccer ball for your son. Now, I just spent $15,000 on a Rolex, right? Okay. Now, you could say, oh, well, he's gaming the system. No, he's showing that he showed honest, sincere appreciation, and he was genuinely interested in me. Does that make sense, guys? And when you, now look, this is almost 20 years later, and I still remember that moment. You know what I mean? I still remember him doing that, right? And I referred him 6 different people to OC Tanner to be able to probably, and whether it was a strategy or not, he actually genuinely cared. So genuine interest is the foundation for long-lasting client relationships. And the best learners become the most successful agents. So here's your real estate application on this. Ask questions about them. Get to know your clients. What makes them tick? When is their birthday? What are their likes and dislikes? What is their favorite restaurant? I did something for my director of operations just a couple of weeks ago for the amazing Anagari. I found out what her favorite restaurant was. And you know what I did? I surprised her and her husband, John, and said, you've been doing such a great job. I want to, I know this is your favorite restaurant. I want to be able to actually say thank you. So here's a night out on me for you guys to be able to actually enjoy it. Everything is taken care of. I hit principle number 2, showing appreciation, and principle number 3, showing genuine interest. Do you think that that relationship is stronger now because of it? Do you think that she works a little bit harder? Do you think the next time that she has the chance to go above and beyond, it's going to have an impact? Yes. But did I do it as a strategy? No, I did it because I cared. That's the key. Does that make sense? When you truly and authentically care about other individuals, you can write your ticket, okay? It's not, let me tell you about me. It's not, let me tell you about this property. It's, tell me what you're looking for, because I truly am genuinely curious. Think about some of the people, Alicia, that you love being around. Do they talk about themselves a bunch, or do they talk about you? Ask questions about you. They talk about you, right? How's this going? How's that going? What's taking place here? Casey, how's it going on that marketing, campaign that we were they're going to ask questions about you. That's how we show that we truly care and that we're interested in other people. So now the same thing is true. We're talking business with the people that you love as well too. You know what I mean? One of the things I love about my fiance, Angie, that is so special that many of you guys have gotten the chance to meet, is every single day when I come home, one of the first things she says is, hi, honey, welcome home, right? And I love that. It's sort of like tongue in cheek, and it's like, I feel like it's leave it to Beaver and here we come back in, right? But she's also like, what's the best thing that happened in your day? Tell me about your day. And we go and we sit outside right back here, right? And we just bullshit for a little bit. And she asks me questions about my day. That drives love, appreciation, and connection. Do the same thing with your spouse. Do the same thing with your kids. Do the same thing with the people that you care about and that you love. Here's number 4, okay? Let the other person feel like the idea is theirs. No one, how many of you guys like to be told what to do? No. Like, hey, I've got this great idea. It's much better to have someone actually believe that the idea is theirs, okay? They're going to support the decision. It's called bottom-up leadership. We do it with, if you're a leader in any type of an organization, people will buy in. They will adopt something that they believe is theirs versus top-down leadership where they believe that it's coming from somebody else, right? So the only way that you can get the best out of an argument, Dale Carnegie said, is to avoid it. Let the other person do a great deal of the talking. Let the other person feel like the idea is his or hers. So here's the real estate application. You'll notice, Casey, in the listing presentation that I teach you guys, that I recommend, it's not dictating a price, it's having them feel like they're coming up with the price. Here's this comparable, here's this comparable, we go through it. Do you know this home? How many bedrooms, how many baths, how many square feet? Do you know this neighborhood? Have you seen this home? Right? It's designed to have them feel like it's their idea, the price is their idea, that they have ownership in it as well too, right? So with buyers, What would, instead of just saying, we need to make this offer, here's the price that we need to do, what would happen if we made an offer at this price? Or what price do you feel comfortable making an offer at on this home? It's their idea at that point, okay? Right? Have you considered, right? Versus you need to. Hey, Alicia, have you considered that an hour a day of lead generation would actually put so much money in your bank account versus you need to do an hour a day of lead generation, sister? You know what I mean? Okay? Becomes her idea, his idea, not my idea. And last but not least, principle number 5, begin with praise before correction. Begin with praise before correction. With clients, feedback is necessary. In relationships, you grow together. Appreciation opens people up. Everything that we've talked about, not criticizing, condemning, complaining, showing honest and authentic appreciation, right? Having the ability to have someone else believe that the idea is theirs, right? Okay. Becoming genuinely curious about somebody else as well too, okay? But I learned this a long time ago as a leader. And if you're going to build a 7-figure business or even a $500,000 or even a $300,000 business, you're going to need to be able to actually engage with someone who's on your team, whether that be, a title rep, escrow, mortgage. I mean, those are all team members, right? Or maybe you have an assistant or a VA or anything. This, I got to tell you, Alicia, you know me. This was probably one of the hardest ones for me to adopt because I'm such a high D, and typically a lot of you guys are higher D personalities where you're just like, I'm going to tell you the shit and then we're going to correct it and let's go, right? And what I found was I was bulldozing people over. I was getting shit done, but Casey, I was leaving dead bodies behind me. Does that make sense? It was like, oh, awesome. Yay, we built the house, but look at it's like a freaking war zone around this. So my coach, Monica Reynolds, taught me this. If ever you need to confront, now a couple of key things, right? With any type of correction, always done privately, not publicly. We praise publicly, we correct privately. With kids, people on your team, with anyone, okay? But what Monica taught me is sandwich confrontation. Sandwich. You guys know a sandwich has two pieces of bread, one piece of meat. Well, the confrontation or the correction is the meat, right? But the praise is the frickin' bread. This is a great leadership tactic. It's also a great tactic for you with kids, relationship. And what you do is this. It's a simple 3-step. Number 1, acknowledge them first. Acknowledge them. Hey, Casey, wow, you've come a long way in your marketing. I've seen you work on this, right? I've seen you really put some time and some energy and some effort to it. Congratulations. That's really good. What does that do? It lowers the resistance, right? The resistance comes down. And then I say, and you know what? You know that if you don't do it consistently and you're not staying on this every single week, you're not going to get the traction and you're not going to generate the leads. So you've really got to make a correction on this. And you know what? Based upon, now here's the other piece of bread. Here's the third piece. And you know what, Casey? Based upon what I've seen with us working together, you absolutely are someone that I know can do this. Because you're consistent in your lead generation and you're consistent in how you work with your clients. So this is just going to be a piece of cake for you. Do you see what I just did? Soften, hit them hard, soften again. Okay? Right? This gives you the chance to lower their guard, to lay down the correction, and then to move forward and leave them in a good space. Okay? And you can do that with clients as well too. Hey, listen, you know what, Alicia? You're such a smart businesswoman. You know, that's how you got into the position that you're in, you know, to be able to actually purchase this home, right? And you know what? Being a smart businesswoman, you know, and you're aware that we can't come in with a low offer like we did last time because we missed out on the property. But you know what? And you told me this, you're someone that only makes a mistake once, not twice, and I'm here to help direct you. So let's move forward on this offer, okay? And one that actually is going to get accepted. sandwich confrontation. You see how that works? Lower the guard, leave them in a good place, and move forward. So as we wind down here, okay, guys, I know this isn't like our normal conversation, but let me stop the screen share, and I'll be sending a whole bunch of support material out to you guys. Stop share. Did you guys get value today? Yes or no? Different conversation, different piece of me that I get to share with you. And more than anything, guys, whether it's personally or professionally, there's a commitment that I have to you all inside of Five, and you guys as fellow warriors in this battle called life, that we just have the most amazing relationships, period. That they're getting better, that we have progress over perfection, that we learn and that we grow, and that your business is a duplication of that as well too. So thank you for letting me share this today with you. I really do appreciate it. There's some assignments that are inside of this that I won't bore you with, that's some action items that you can take. But what I would tell you is take one principle for the next 30 days and dive into it. Whichever one it is that you go, oh, that's the one that I think could have the biggest impact on my life. Work on it personally and work on it professionally. Okay? All right, Five. You guys are badass. Always grateful for this time that we get together.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah. Have an amazing 30 days. People are asking me what's going to happen with the market. I just want to lay this down for you guys right now. It's going to be a battle. So put your big girl pants on, your big boy pants on, right? Get your gloves out, right? Because we've got, a pretty strong 90 days to 6 months that we're going to have to battle through, a couple of interest rate hikes potentially, right? But remember, that doesn't define us. What it does is it defines the model that we need to work inside of. Does that make sense? Okay. Just because rates go up doesn't mean here, John, that we've got to actually have our business go down. It just means we need to use more aggressive strategies. Okay. So crush it. Have an amazing 30 days. I'll see you guys on the next call. And John, give Tammy a big hug from me as well too. Okay.
I'll do it. Hey, Bill, I was going to say, you sound a little bit more like Floyd Wickman than the old Mike Ferry, though.
I'm balancing it out, baby. I'm balancing it out. So.
I know nobody else probably in this call knows that, but yeah, Mike was. He didn't quite have that touch back then. I don't know.
He doesn't. And you know what? We take what we need from the people that we come into contact with and be able to actually
100%.
put it together. So, all right, guys, mad love for you all. Okay, take care.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
so much, Bill.